Meanwhile, someone wreaks havoc in Qinghong Academy. The elder of the Zhu Mountains sect, Du Jiyu, demands an explanation about why they're dying in this secret realm, while the academy's disciples are merely chilling. The sect leader, Master Qingzhu, also emphasizes that he is demanding resources. He also has a side quest, that is, to court Yue Zuanzhu for the nth time. Instructor Jiang speaks to these punks, explaining that the Four Arts Department is to be blamed for this, not the academy. However, all he earns is a spit on his face, a great way to freshen up, right? Angry, he tells the men to go straight to the Four Arts Department themselves, since they don't believe him anyway. Unbeknownst to these idiots, Bai Luo Chun is there along with the other masters. Let's see what these gangsters are made of then. However, as soon as they enter the Four Arts Department, they immediately start spreading their disgusting man urges. These men are acting like dogs while also looking like one. One of the men starts taking advantage of Yun Ruo, forcing her to do the nasty. Just then, a flaming arrow shoots out of nowhere, hitting the buff guy who's bothering Yun Ruo. His flesh dissolves as he gets consumed by the flames, and he can only call out for his master in desperation. Unfortunately for him, Du Jiyu and Qing Shu want nothing to do with him because they don't want to die from the corpse poison. Just then, Bai Luo Chun appears with Yue Zuanzhu, warning that they can't just run around spreading stupidity. Du Jiyu is enraged that one of his men was killed. Meanwhile, Qing Shu's facial nerves are pulsing in jealousy. How can Zuanzhu choose this woodchucker over him? This amuses Bai Luo Chun, so he asks Zuanzhu what Qing Shu is talking about. She explains that she met him once during the southern border competition, and he has been following her like a dog ever since. He kept coming to the academy and has even proposed over 200 times in the past 3 years. Talk about dedication. Simp, that's all Luo Chun could say. Hearing those words boils Qing Shu's blood, and at this point, his facial nerves are already doing splits. Simp? Okay, maybe he was, but he's a changed man now. He regrets proposing to Zuanzhu, and now they will all pay as he takes over the Four Arts Department. Suffer the wrath of this sad boy. Just to anger Qing Shu further, Bai Luo Chun says that Zuanzhu doesn't like him because he doesn't meet her standards. Qing Shu prepares to throw hands, but Du Ji pulls him back. If he stirs a fight, they won't be able to get the resources they need, so he better shut his trap. Bai Luo Chun wonders why they're here for resources, so Du Jiyu explains that it's compensation for the deaths of his disciples, which were caused by the Four Arts Department. Zuanzhu fires back, arguing that her department was never good at fighting. It's quite clear that the Blissful Palace was behind it all. Bullshark, says Du Jiyu. The Blissful Palace has long been destroyed. Is this woman out of her mind? Zuanzhu is not aware of what happened to the palace, but Bai tells her not to bother arguing with these idiots. However, Bai Luo Chun couldn't just take the blame for something he didn't do either, so to justify the matter, he challenges the men to a noble fight. Du Jiyu expresses how unfair this is, but it turns out that Qing Shu is ready to rumble. Bai Luo Chun explains that each of them will dispatch 5 disciples below the Golden Core realm, and they have to win 3 rounds in the arena battle. If Qing Zhu is too scared to lose, then he can join as well. But if he does, he has to shut up about his old victim act. Du Jiyu is skeptical. Bai Luo Chun has talented disciples, and this could compromise their mission. On the other hand, Qing Zhu is confident, saying that he has his special plan. Just then, he adds another request if ever they win. Aside from getting the resources that they demand, he gets dibs on cutting off Bai Luo Chun's precious man balls. Not the balls, anything but the balls. This is probably the monologue in Zuanzhu's head because she's totally against the request. However, Bai Luo Chun's like just the balls. Please, you can take the whole pecker. But to make matters equal, he also has a special request, that is to rip out their heads from their necks. Okay, bye. Back to the psych ward, please. And so the battle begins. As the Four Arts Department loses the first round, Qing Shu tells Bai Luo Chun to kneel and bark. Maybe then he'll spare his worthless life. Bai Luo Chun is an unbothered king, motivating Yun Ro to fight the next round as he munches on his kebabs. Hello? Qing Shu was talking? Just then, Zuanzhu arrives with Li Yue, informing Luo Chun that something has come up on the headmaster's end, and because of that, he won't be able to attend. However, the rest of the other instructors are on their way. Just then, Qing Shu calls out to Zuanzhu, telling her that it's not too late to join his team. However, Zhu Manzhu and Li Yuwei only walk past this idiot like they didn't hear anything. They are more excited about the kebabs that Bai is eating, which only angers Qingshu further. Meanwhile, Yunro's clothes are non-existent from all the attacks. Clad only in her underwear, her opponent urges her to just give up. Pef, these perverts are merely cutting her clothes and not her. Her opponent explains that this is the power of the spirit sword. The gap between quality can't be filled with just a little cultivation, or whatever that means. Yunro scoffs at the man's monologue as she summons her flute, a rare imperial weapon. Just then, the man panics as he realizes that his sword has become wobbly. What did that happen? Yunro then expels her break formation golden elimination attack, which scares her opponent. If only his other sword could be used as a weapon, because that can easily get hard, you know. Meanwhile, Qingshu is baffled at how a disciple can have a rare imperial weapon. Bai Luo Chun says it's not that big of a deal, and he can even give him some. That is if he kneels and barks a few times. Woof! Bars enraged, Qingshu almost gives Bai a piece of his mind, but Du Jiyu stops him. He reassures the temperamental Qingshu that a disciple at Yunro's stage will only be able to wield some of the power of an imperial weapon. He adds that his Hishan sect has a disciple at the peak of the spiritual silence stage who specializes in training female cultivators. And speaking of the devil, here comes the man whose smell will make you gag, Li Haishan. Just then, Bai Luo Chun calls out to Yunro, telling her to take a break and leave this round to Yunshi. Yunro refuses, claiming that she hasn't even fought for real yet. However, Yunshi explains that Bai Luo Chun and her marital uncle have already arranged this. Plus, she also needs a change of clothes. This is too much fan service. Left with no choice, Yunro entrusted this round to Yunshi. Not long after, the duel begins and Haishan immediately rushes towards Yunshi with a break formation sound oppression attack. We can't imagine how time-consuming it is to recite that in an actual duel, but okay. Meanwhile, Yunshi can't help but wonder what martial technique is being used by Haishan. As the duel continues, the audience is already fighting for their lives because of the stench. Some are vomiting, while others have become nauseous. Phew, even a skunk would tell Haishan to dial it down a notch. Meanwhile, some of the other instructors arrive in the vicinity, only to be welcomed by the lovely smell of Haishan's unwashed pits. Instructor Ni gives a medicinal powder pouch to Li Yue, telling her to place it in the arena's four corners to avoid the smell. When asked what is causing this horrendous smell, Ni explains that this is a method of cultivation that ordinary cultivators simply cannot accept. The filthy Dao. Filthy what now? Qingshu explains to Du Jiyu that filthy Dao requires constant immersion in a manure pit for cultivation. No one has ever succeeded in attaining this mastery for centuries. And for obvious reasons, this is such a rare occurrence that Qingshu is surprised that Du Jiyu has convinced Haishan to pursue such cultivation. Du Jiyu replies that he only casually mentioned this with his 5 impure roots. Who would have thought that Haishan would actually soak in the manure pit for 15 years? Meh, maybe he wanted to be unique. Weird flex, but okay. The smell might be enough to kill them all, but at least it's a great shot at winning. Unbeknownst to the two, Bai Luo Chun is eavesdropping, and he suddenly gets a big brain moment. What if they give Haishan a bath? Would that remove his powers? Instructor Ni says that this might have some impact, but the filthy Dao can still stand its ground without being easily defeated by others in the same realm. Meanwhile, Yu Shi tries her luck by raining a tsunami on Haishan, but as expected, this doesn't do much. Haishan only laughs at her, claiming that his lovely scent won't easily be washed away. After all, that's 15 long years soaking in turd. Haishan suddenly spins around, splattering free poop perfume to the audience. Or should we say poop fume? No? Alright. Yu Shi is pissed that water-based spells don't work on this done Beal. On the other hand, Qingshu screams at Du Jiyu to control Haishan because they're also being splattered on. Meanwhile, Zhu tells Bai Luo Chun to accept defeat in this round because Yun Shi is having a hard time. With this, Bai tells Li Yue to step into the arena. Looking at their situation, Instructor Jiang could only comment that women are so useless in fights. He even adds that people from the 4 Arts department are not cultivators but mere actors. This triggers Bai Luo Chun. So to anger him further, Jiang offers aid, but only if they kneel and beg. For some reason, Jiang has the humor of a 7-year-old. He laughs like his life depended on it, but he suddenly turns sour when Bai summons a piece of turd to land on his mouth. What a great way to shut someone up. Jiang is furious, and he almost picks a fight. However, Instructor Yan Shangcheng stops him, reminding him of the rules. Meanwhile, Du Jiyu is horrified that Haisheng has been defeated in one move. "Filthy Dao my foot," thinks Li Yue. Qing Shu panics, telling Du Jiyu that unorthodox cultivation will not be able to stand on this stage. If Haisheng can't win, then another disciple must step into the arena. Du Jiyu refuses, arguing that Haisheng hasn't even surrendered yet. True enough, Haisheng might look like a roasted duck, but he has used Li Yue's lightning attack to temper his body into an immaculate one. Instructor Yu, who just arrived, was beyond amazed to witness what Haisheng had done. However, he's also filled with panic, claiming that they must stop him or else the Academy's position in the Southern Realm will be in danger. He angrily screams at Li Yue to attack Haisheng while he's vulnerable, but she remains calm and stagnant. She suddenly sits down to cultivate, which enrages Instructor Yu. Has Bai Luo Chun been teaching his disciples to be stupid all along? To make him shut up, Bai Luo Chun reminds him of the turd that flew into Jiang's mouth. He doesn't want to taste, does he? Du Jiyu, on the other hand, boasts that an immaculate body is the strongest innate Dao body. Instructor Yu says it's nonsense. It's merely filthy Dao, and even they can cultivate that. Meanwhile, Zhuanzhu worries that Haisheng's realm is much higher than Li Yue's. However, Bai Luo Chun reassures her that Li Yue's cultivation in the middle of the duel only means that she's confident in winning. Meanwhile, Haisheng is ready to unleash his wrath upon Li Yue. Haisheng's immaculate body starts to form, flexing his buff build. Everything hardens and grows except for his shuang, which the unimpressed Li Yue points out. Haisheng freaks out upon realizing that his immaculate body might not be immaculate at all, and it's not even complete. I guess size truly matters. Huh. Instructor Yu is relieved that Haisheng lost his game. Meanwhile, Instructor Jiang expresses that he saw this coming. After all, he believes that soaking in manhua and playing instruments are the same. They're both useless. Hearing this, Yu Shi flicks her middle finger at Jiang, telling him to shut his hole if he has nothing good to say. Jiang gets offended by this, so he grabs Yu Shi by the collar and prepares to punish her. However, he earns a smack on the head from Zhuanzhu, and she also reminds him that she has the right to rectify the rules of the sect if he keeps dissing the other departments. Instructor Yu taps Jiang on the shoulder, telling him to stop quarreling with women and focus on the duel. Yeah, Jiang, listen to you and stop acting like a closeted gay biatch. Meanwhile, Haisheng is losing his marbles. He wants to be eternal. An immortal. He'd been soaked in turd for 15 years only to be defeated by a woman. Li Yue warns him to stop or else he'll surely lose control. Haisheng gets triggered, so he dashes at Li Yue with a brutal attack. However, Li Yue whips out a moonlight thunder slash attack, smashing Haisheng to the ground. Mr. Dung Beetle deflates like a pufferfish, and he's all dusty and beat up. With sadness in his eyes, he cries as he refuses to accept his defeat. Du Jiyu enters the arena, and Haisheng holds onto his feet, saying that he can still fight. Yeah, right. Disappointed, Du Jiyu tells him to shut up. He will no longer fight, and he is no longer a disciple of the Hishan sect. Oof, a little harsh. Du Jiyu. Man's soaked himself in turd for 15 years, you know. Haisheng cries in desperation, begging that he can continue cultivating inside the manhua pit, and this time, he'll be better. Du Jiyu is having none of this incompetence, so he kicks the poor Haisheng out of the arena. Left with no choice, Haisheng leaves the vicinity. As he cries in the middle of nowhere, he goes on about how unfair his life is. Just then, someone approaches him, asking if he wants revenge. The stranger casts a spell on Haisheng, giving him the 3-star heavenly talisman Runmu Rejuvenation. Phew, just a second. Let me catch my breath. Suddenly, Haisheng realizes that all of his wounds are gone. The stranger who healed him is none other than Bai Luo Chun himself, who's also offering him the chance to receive a newly tempered body. That is if he wants revenge. But why Haisheng? Bai Luo Chun explains that he knows what it feels like to be used and thrown away by others. Haisheng can barely believe that Bai Luo Chun has been through such harsh treatment. After all, he's one of the most talented instructors in the realm. Before leaving, Bai reminds Haisheng to think about his offer, and if he wants revenge, then he must never pretend to have seen him there. Haisheng reflects on his life, and even if he doubts Bai, he doesn't have any other options. With this, he kneels on the ground, begging Bai Luo Chun to accept him as a disciple. Bai gladly accepts, knowing that Haisheng has great potential. Now, for the first step of his training, he has to take his pants off. Well, a hole is a hole, I guess. Haishun blushes, then he asked Bai Luo-chun if he can be a little gentle because it's his first time. But God, Luo-chun could only be disgusted by what Haishun was thinking. He only wanted him to take his clothes off so he could inspect the tempering of his physique. Has he become a turd brain after soaking in that pit for 15 years? Haishun apologizes for having a dirty mind, then he proceeds to take his pants off. Bai looks at his pecker and says, not much girth. Okay, he didn't say that, but he thought of it. He then warns Haishun that what he's about to do is going to hurt a bit. Suddenly, Bai's chi enters his body, making him do a little lowly sound. I don't know about you, but this Haishun dude is a little fruity. Meanwhile, in the arena, Li Yue is battling Zhu Li from the Bamboo Mountain sect. Zhu Li boasts that not even innate cultivators can withstand her killing array, so she better give up. Li Yue replies that her sect is truly shameless, and it's hard to believe they sent a golden core up to fight. Just then, Zhu Li releases a 9-palace killing array directly at Li Yue. Instructor Ni is amazed that Zhu Li can build her killing array by hiding it within her attacks, which may potentially cause Li Yue to lose. What a schemer. This makes Zuan Zhu worry, especially since Bai has disappeared. Jian comments that he probably fled because he could already see the team losing. This pisses Zuan Zhu off, so she replies that she'll give up all her resources for Bai, and she won't let that stupid Qingshu hurt him. She will even accept his proposal if this means that Bai will remain unscathed. Suddenly, Bai Luo-chun appears out of nowhere, landing directly on the arena's grounds with a strong impact. Some of the debris lands on Qingshu's face, making him a little woozy. Well, he deserved that. Bai then reassures Zuan Zhu that there's no need for such sacrifices, as Li Yue hasn't accepted defeat yet. Meanwhile, Instructor Ni worries that Li Yue's cultivation is several realms lower than her opponent's. The only way to break it is through brute force, and this may be close to impossible. However, Bai reassures Ni that although Li Yue is not from the formation array department, he's still sure that she won't lose to anyone. Li Yue, on the other hand, admits that Zhu Li is truly strong, as this is vital for her to control the 9-palace killing array. Just then, Zhu Li releases a strong killing array attack on Li Yue, but this doesn't seem to do anything. Impossible. How could this be? Li Yue smirks, saying that she has fought the creator of this array countless times before, Nani. This array was found in a secret realm of an Earth immortal from thousands of years ago. How could she have fought the founder? Li Yue teases Zhu Li, asking if she has any other arrays that could actually do something. Angry, Zhu Li mindlessly releases the Herald 1,000 Coasts attack, revealing that she is part of the soul-binding array of the Soul Hunter sect. I don't even understand what that means, but yeah. The Academy instructors are infuriated because Qingshu colluded with the demonic sects. Although the Bamboo Mountain sect isn't that influential, they are still part of the Orthodox faction. How can these cheaters even face their ancestors after conspiring with the demonic sects? However, Qingshu justifies that internal matters should remain confidential, and Du Jiyu adds that they're probably making a fuss because they're about to lose. Zuan Zhu's blood boils, and she pleads with Bai to stop the fight before Li Yue gets hurt. However, Bai seems to be unbothered, claiming that the real fight is just about to begin. Cue the drum rolls. In the arena, Zhu Li is frantically losing her mind, trying to figure out a way to end Li Yue. She's quite skilled in breaking formations, but can she do the same for a spirit cultivator's array? Just then, a colossal demon appears behind Li Yue, but she remains nonchalant. Is this the best that Zhu Li can whip up? As the Academy instructors watch this battle, it becomes quite clear that Li Yue is about to die. But not Bai, he's as relaxed as a guy on a holiday. Just then, with one attack, Zhu Li decapitates Li Yue's head. Indeed, Li Yue is dead, and her headless body lies in her own pool of blood. Zuan Zhu gets consumed by anger, as they have established beforehand that this competition between disciples is only about ability, not killing. However, Qingshu and Du Jiyu only justify their actions, saying that Li Yue asked for it and she's not even her disciple. Just then, Bai reassures Zuan Zhu that it's not the time to act yet because the competition is not over. Meanwhile, Zhu Li scoffs at Li Yue's dead body, boasting that she was all about yapping and didn't possess actual skills. However, just before she could leave the arena, Li Yue gets resurrected out of nowhere. No way. She knows how to use the phantom power technique. Horrified, Zhu Li attempts to back out, but it's too late. Li Yue smashes her to a wall without taking a single step. And then, bam, Xu Li is plastered to a wall with all her limbs broken. She gets paralyzed, making Li Yue the winner. It turns out that Shi Yao Meng has gifted Li Yue with the cast of her frozen silkworm, sensing that she might need it in the future. Sure, it was great and all, but it tasted like Shi Yao Meng's fluids. Meanwhile, Qing Zhu can barely accept his defeat. It's impossible. How could Li Yue overpower an early-stage golden core cultivator? There is no other explanation. They definitely cheated. However, Bai is not taking any of his crap. Qing Zhu needs to stick to their deal. It's finally Qing Zhu's decapitation time. However, the panicking dude argues that they are all sects of the Southern Realm. Does Bai want them to die? Show us the part where Bai gives a single F. Being the sour loser that he is, Qing Zhu activates his blood-drinking parasite's 5 souls attack, turning him into a colossal beast. Instructor Yu is amazed. Qing Zhu is on the Divine Divergence peak, and he's been hiding this all along. Instructor Jiang is just as surprised, adding that he can also sense hints of the Wrath Realm's spiritual skills in Qing Zhu's cultivation methods. Even if all the instructors team up, they won't be able to take him down. Just then, Qing Zhu dashes towards Bai Luo Chun, ready to unleash the full force of his wrath. Just then, Zuan Zhu appears out of nowhere, saving Bai from the attack. In the process, Bai's face gets smushed in her mommy milkers. That's a pretty nifty airbag. Huh. Seeing this triggers Qing Zhu, so he prepares to launch. However, Bai magically appears on the other side of the arena. But how? Don't mind that. Here comes Bai's fist. It aims directly at Qing Zhu's stupid face, killing him with a single blow. Call him One Punch Man, literally. Bai walks towards Du Jiyu next, so the poor man begs for his life. However, Bai spares him, saying that many other people want Du Jiyu's head anyway. It's only a matter of time before someone else kills him. The old fart quickly scurries away, thankful to be alive. Meanwhile, Bai walks towards Zuan Zhu. He thinks it's adorable that she's holding on to his puppet for dear life. But what puppet? To Zuan Zhu's surprise, she's been holding Bai's puppet all this time, a decoy that he used in the fight. Zuan Zhu takes first dibs on the puppet, claiming that it's her compensation for being worried. She won't be sticking needles into it when it's getting soaked tonight. Don't ask me how. Meanwhile, Instructor Yu is in disbelief that Bai just killed a Divine Divergence peak with a single punch, which means that his ability exceeds Qing Zhu's. That was already mind-boggling. Just imagine what Bai Luo Chun can do, realizing that the person they've been bullying is literally a god. Instructor Yu and Jiang discreetly yeet out of the arena. Just then, Li Yue runs to Bai Luo Chun, and she receives a good girl pat on the head. However, she also wants a puppet of Bai just like Zuan Zhu's. For what reason? I guess you already know. In the ruins of the Blissful Palace, 3 representatives from the Southern Realm Immortal Alliance investigation team visit to check out the place. There's miasma all over the area, which they avoid. Surely, whoever the culprit was of this killing isn't afraid of the Immortal Alliance. Suddenly, the 3 investigators are shocked to see that even the Earth vein has been dug out, indicating that someone higher than the Crossing Tribulation Realm is responsible for it. Out of nowhere, the sky turns dark and a bright portal emerges from the skies. I don't know about you, but it looks like a hoo-ha. The light drives the investigators mad, thinking that it might be the Great Tao. Everyone starts ripping out their insides, except for the woman who is wearing a talisman. Just then, an immortal being suddenly appears. She comments that she can feel a familiar aura, but the heavenly Tao is preventing her from descending. Seeing this, the remaining investigator attempts to use her talisman to send a report to the Alliance. However, the immortal being only pulls her talisman and squashes her with a boulder, ending her life. Finally, the entity is found what she's looking for after so many years, her best friend, Manmin. Meanwhile, in Qingluan Peak, Bai Luo Chun is notified that incidents related to him are being spied on by the Great Tao. To ensure his safety, the maximum amount of spiritual energy that he can use will be restricted, meaning that he must refrain from using the Pong axe outside of chopping firewood. Confused, Bai asks the system why this is the case. He then learns that after unlocking the world mission, his spiritual energy has exceeded the maximum limit, thus attracting the prying eyes of the heavenly Tao. Bai can only use 10% of his energy, which is about the level of the Crossing Tribulation Realm. Who is at that level? Right, Instructor Li. Meh, that's quite weak. Just then, Bai asks for a little compensation since he's not allowed to use his axe. The system sends him a new weapon, a person wrapped in a talisman. I don't know about you, but that weapon looks thick. Meanwhile, Mammon assists Li Yue in bathing. She's quite amazed that Bai Luo Chun is very generous in giving Li Yue a 5-star quenching pill to help her recover from her previous battle. This precious treasure is said to enhance one's cultivation by 3 levels, and there are only a few of those in existence. Although Li Yue is thankful that Bai cares about her that much, she does wish that it was him who's helping her right now. All she has is his measly puppet. I wonder what she's been doing with that thing. Mammon explains that quenching the body is different from reshaping meridians, which means it has to be done completely bare. Bai Luo Chun might be surrounded by bouncing mummy milkers all day, but he's not that kind of guy. Someone give this guy a medal. After this, Mammon hands the pill to Li Yue. Li Yue feels something inside her, and she gets a strong premonition about something. She suddenly feels her body getting warmer and warmer. If this is not a finishing face, I don't know what is. Meanwhile, Mammon tells her to endure it because she won't let anything bad happen to her. Out of nowhere, Li Yue screams. It's coming. Is it her or does she mean something else? Elsewhere, Shi Liu notices that the sky is growing dark, and even the thunder tribulations sound a bit weird. However, Mi Meng and Wu Zhuguai are so busy chasing each other that they barely notice. Meanwhile, Bai Luo Chun is busy burying the talisman body when he notices the same thing. He believes this is Li Yue's golden core thunder tribulation too, but has a rather heavy aura. Out of nowhere, the protective formation suddenly shatters, and it happens close to where Li Yue is. Concerned about a potential threat, Bai Luo Chun swiftly rushes to the scene. Meanwhile, Xiao Liu, Mi Meng, and Wu Zhuguai begin to grow anxious because the thunder appears different from Li Yue's usual tribulations. Elsewhere, Bai summons the intruder to show themselves. Out of nowhere, the immortal entity appears, excited to meet Bai Luo Chun, who is at the revolving light stage. Bai, on the other hand, demands the intruder to reveal her name and motive for bringing chaos into the place. She replies with enthusiasm. So, this is the master. He must be quite good if he can beat an immortal like her. Wait, immortal? This must be Kai Shiyu, the person that Mammon has spoken of. Kai Shiyu's sinister laugh echoes through the skies. Knowing that Mammon still remembers her after all these years, she suddenly appears an inch before Bai's face, asking if Mammon is doing well. He replies that she is, but she's become a corpse immortal. Just then, he cuts to the chase. He knows what Kai Shiyu's plan is, and he won't let her hurt his disciple. Plus, she's also Kai Shiyu's reincarnation, which is just ironic. Kai Shiyu argues that Mammon is no reincarnation, but rather, she's just one of the cores of her 3 corpses. Realizing that he might disturb her plans, Kai Shiyu unexpectedly unleashes an attack. Bai Luo Chun dodges it, but he's quite disturbed that even with his talisman formation, she still did so much damage. What kind of mommy milker monster is this? Meanwhile, the disciples are catching up to what's happening. They want to help and hide Li Yue, but Bai tells them to remain in the talisman formation. Determined to bring this woman down, Bai demands the system to give him his Pongu axe. The system hands it to him, reminding him to proceed with caution. However, Bai remains confident. This woman is just another wood to chop. Just then, he releases a 5-star divine talisman while rushing towards Kai Shiyu. However, he realizes that this immortal might not be like his typical villain. Her shell is extremely hard to penetrate. Okay, how about penetrating something else? Kidding. Back to the fight. Bai resorts to using his Buddha aspect and Shura manifestation combo attack. Finally, this does some damage. It impresses Kai Shiyu as she doesn't expect that a monster like him exists in the mortal world. Bai continues to rain attacks on her. Rushing forward with his 6-armed Shura, he breaks through, allowing him to come face to face with Kai Shiyu. He suddenly asks why she's trying to come for his disciple, despite ascending into an immortal. However, Kai Shiyu explains that it's not about achieving immortality. After ascending, she found that the heavenly realm was nothing more than that. Countless so-called immortals occupied smaller worlds, making it no different from the mortal realm. So Kai Shiyu didn't seek to conquer heaven, she aspired to become its very essence, to wield the laws shaping both heaven and earth. She didn't just desire to reach the stars, she aimed to be the very embodiment of heaven. Nani? Pissed at Kai Shiyu's greed, Bai Luo Chun hits her with all his might, eager to send her back to the heavenly realm. This ripped space apart, allowing Bai to toss the psychotic Kai Shiyu into the abyss. And so the chaos is over, or is it? Out comes Kai Shiyu again, emerging from the skies as she rips it open. Surprise, surprise. It seems like Bai Luo Chun isn't the only one who can rip space apart. Just then, the system warns Bai that he has damaged the Heavenly Channel, making the Heavenly Way connected with the mortal world. The Heavenly Channel expands into the mortal world at a rapid speed. If it isn't stopped, everything will be devoured. Amid everyone's panic, Kai Shi Yu is ecstatic that she's witnessing the manifestation of her fusion with the Heavenly Way. Just how can Bai Luo Chun beat this crazy woman now? Out of nowhere, Kai Shi Yu attacks Bai with her tentacled monster. However, he counters with a 5-star divine talisman, making the monster explode into smithereens. That's fresh sushi for tonight, folks. Meanwhile, the disciples are freaking out because the Heavenly Channel is everywhere. It's in the air, and it even emerges from the ground. They have no idea how to kill it, and on top of that, they still need to get Li Yue to safety. Mimeng, on the other hand, keeps getting hit by thunder. She doesn't know why she's the barbecue target of the day, but it seems like the tables have switched. The lightning is attracted to the insect. At least it's not the other way around, right? Meanwhile, Bai Luo Chun is in full rampage mode. Kai Shi Yu's demise is long overdue, so he uses all of his spiritual energy, making the system freak out because he's exceeding the limit of his body. However, Bai's like, shut your whole system. Something like that. Nevertheless, he's not about to give up, and he will defend Qinglu on peak even if he has to drain the spiritual energy of the world. Infuriated, Bai Luo Chun exclaims that he will teach Kai Shi Yu the true heavenly way. He then attempts to seal the heavens, which greatly shocks Kai Shi Yu as she can't believe that a mortal can use such tremendous amounts of spiritual energy. This is where she realizes that it's the Pangu axe of creation that's giving Bai Luo Chun his powers, which means that she was destined to lose from the very start. Bai successfully seals the heavens, but his axe breaks in the process. At least, everyone is safe now, even though there was a huge sacrifice to be made. Golden streaks of light suddenly showered the place, indicating that the worst had passed. Meanwhile, Chang Shiyao Liu exclaims that this golden core tribulation is probably something that no man has ever experienced before. Just then, Li Yue falls weak, claiming that she can't take it anymore. Bai then takes her into his arms, and he realizes that she's weak because she missed the final step of the thunder tribulation process. Mammon asks where they can find one for her to complete it, and Bai replies that only a thunder attribute cultivator who's contaminated with the energy of heavenly thunder can help. Mimeng, with her new pink afro, screams that they must find this cultivator, even if they have to force them. She suddenly realizes that everyone's looking at her weird. Are they weirded out with a new hairstyle, or could she be the perfect cultivator? Out of nowhere, another thunder strikes the poor insect lady. Moments later, Li Yue finally wakes up with her core finally completed. But how? And where did they find the cultivator? Well, it seems obvious with Mimeng fried in the corner. With the worst being over, Bai Luo Chun tells the girls to clean up while he goes to the Deacon Hall. Meanwhile, in the heavenly domain, Kai Shi Yu promises to kill Bai Luo Chun, Mammon, and Li Yue the next time they meet. Days later, Bai Luo Chun gets pissed that he has to pay so much to get his place fixed. As he digs out the talisman-covered body, the system notifies him that the world mission has been issued. This means that a new disciple is just around the corner. However, here's the twist. You must find her before she dies. Say what now? With the talisman body strapped to his back, Bai Luo Chun immediately sends out a spirit bird to the disciples, informing them to bring Little Dream and come to the transportation gate at the main peak. Get ready, girls. You're about to save a new disciple. Elsewhere in Wulin City, Liu Hengzhang orders his guards to protect Nalan Duo, his niece. Killers want to kill Nalan for breaking an engagement, so Hengzhang reminds her to stay put while they wait for the Immortal Alliance to arrive. He also doesn't blame Nalan for breaking the engagement, considering her betrothed is a cruel man. Just then, men from the Blood Sword Palace suddenly appear, holding the heads of the Immortal Alliance members. Well, there goes security. Liu Hengzhang can only cry as he sees the faces of his disciples, Zhang Er and Liu Chuan. The cloaked men have already killed 163 members of Duo's family, and it seems like they're not stopping anytime soon. One of the cloaked men only chuckles, saying that this is fun for the palace lord. He suddenly swings his weapon at Hengzhang's face, tearing it apart. Before meeting his demise, Hengzhang screams at Duo to escape. Elsewhere, Bai Luo Chun drives a flying boat, which turns out to be the talisman-covered body. Who knew that thing was one of them Autobots? Meanwhile, Mimeng munches on a peak-grade melon, but Li Yue wrestles her to spit it out because it's supposed to be their meeting gift for the new disciple. However, Mimong reminds her that she sacrificed so much for her golden core, so she must at least give her this. Yeah, just give her that melon already. Bai Luo Chun, on the other hand, receives a crash course from the system. His new disciple, Nalan Duo, is a 19-year-old daughter of the Nalan family from the Qianfang Lake. She is a high-grade extreme profound Yin meridian, and she's engaged to the Xiao family's son, Ping. Her betrothed, Ping, suffered cultivation deviation when he was 14, which caused him to lose his power. His personality also underwent a huge change, because what's a man if he doesn't have a fragile ego, right? Welp. Nalan Duo was never in favor of their marriage, so she took the opportunity to break it off. As expected, Xi Yaoping was enraged, causing him to cultivate like crazy while declaring promises to the public. When he was 16, he was accepted as a close-door disciple of the Palace Lord of the Blood Sword Palace. Upon becoming the new Palace Lord, Xi Yaoping slaughtered the entire Nalan family, leaving Duo alive to redeem himself. Sheesh. His heart gets broken once and becomes a serial killer. While listening to this story, Bai Luo Chun can't help but think that it sounds a bit familiar. However, his thoughts are disturbed when the system reminds him that Duo is about to die. With this, he immediately hits the turbo and dashes off. Meanwhile, Duo is left with no choice but to defend herself against the men of the Blood Sword Palace. They threaten her to come with them, or else they'll finish off the entirety of her family within the residence. Because of this, Duo accepts her fate to save her family. However, these men don't stick to their promises. One of them kills all of the remaining Nalan family, while the other immobilizes Duo. Blood splatters within the walls of the residence, leaving Duo's eyes flaring with anger. She wants to join her family in death, so she quickly attempts to activate a self-destructive spell. However, her spiritual power runs dry and greatly weakens her. Duo is left defenseless as the cloaked men wrap her in ropes and talismans. The two prepare to bring Duo to the palace, but something emerges from the sky and crashes right before them. Angry, one of the cloaked men demands to know who dares to obstruct their plans. Bai Luo Chun suddenly appears, not giving a single care about who they are. He commands the men to drop Duo, and if they follow, he might just give them a peaceful death. The cloaked man named Ming Shi declares they're from the Blood Sword Palace, asking Bai Luo Chun if he plans to steal from them. Bai responds with a confident bingo and summons Duo's body to float towards him. Ming Shi freaks out but isn't ready to let Duo go so easily. He counters with the binding immortal rope spell, but Bai manages to break Duo free. Ming Shi's facial nerves pulse with worry that he might lose to Bai. Always up for a challenge, Bai invites the hysterical Ming Shi to test his spiritual powers against him. Meanwhile, Duo struggles against the magic enveloping her, which is so intense that it tears off her clothes. The men are shocked, but Mimong is impressed by this new disciple's figure. Okay, but why are you gay? Before this turns into a whole NSFW content, Bai takes Duo into his arms and tells the disciples to deal with the punks from the Blood Sword Palace. With orders to keep the men alive, Li Yue and Mimong prepare to teach these guys a lesson. Ming Shi is furious that Bai Luo Chun proves too strong for them, but they think they might stand a chance against the disciples. He senses that Li Yue is just a golden core, but he can't discern what Mimong is. Nevertheless, Ming Shi unleashes multiple attacks and orders his comrade to launch a blood double attack. Li Yue charges, but Ming Shi unleashes a blood slash attack that explodes. Li Yue dodges, prompting Ming Shi to try a blood fold art attack while deploying a shadow blood copy to create distracting clones. Ming Shi tries to seize the chance to escape, but he finds himself unable to. But how? His blood fold suddenly collapses, leaving the men wondering just how powerful Li Yue is. Just then, Li Yue unleashes a moon wheel thunder attack, summoning a powerful beam of thunder from underground that sends the men flying. Mimong didn't even break a sweat, but she is thinking about giving Li Yue a melon later. Looks like someone is not in the mood. Meanwhile, Bai Luo Chun tries healing Duo, whose Dantian was sealed off using blood chi. Geez, those pieces of cloth are hanging onto her melons for dear life. Bai Luo Chun heals his helpless disciple. However, it's not very comforting to suddenly find yourself bare before a stranger, so Duo attempts to slap Bai. However, he stops her hand. explaining that it was an accident and he's trying to restore her dantian. He then resumes his healing, which hurts so much that it causes Duo to make lowly noises. Soon after, Bai Luo-chun finally frees Duo's dantian. Bai Luo-chun then introduces himself, declaring that he's the instructor of the Talisman Department of Qinghong Academy. With this, he asks if she wants to be his disciple. This leaves Duo in shock. So he's the trash instructor that everyone is talking about. That could be phrased better, but yeah. After this, Bai Luo-chun repairs Duo's dantian, causing her to make finishing noises. Seriously, the writers of this story are having too much fun. Meanwhile, Li Yue and Mi Meng have rounded up the men from the Blood Sword Palace. Bai Luo-chun steps on these thugs, furious that they're stupid cultivators who are attacking mere mortals. Duo is shocked that the men were defeated because they were at the peak of the Golden Core stage. Li Yue then approaches Duo, but she seems a little territorial over Bai. Mi Meng tells her that her internal monologues are leaking, but Li Yue remains firm. It seems like Duo is not that interested in becoming a disciple, so Li Yue reminds her that this is a rare opportunity. She doesn't even care to convince her, and Mi Meng can't help that Li Yue is being a little too sassy. Meanwhile, Duo identifies Mi Meng as a demon in human form. This only means that she's a demon king, or even better, a demon emperor. If someone like Mi Meng is Bai's disciple, maybe he's not trash after all. Just then, thoughts of Shi Yaoping suddenly cross Duo's mind, reminding her of her pursuit of revenge. With this, she kneels before Bai Luo-chun, pleading with him to take her as his disciple. Bai accepts and he hands her some books to study beforehand. However, Duo is worried that she won't be able to cultivate anymore because she suffered from chi deviation, so she implies that Bai avenges her. To which she asks if this will truly put her heart at ease. Cultivation is all about purity of heart and clarity of thoughts, and this is his first challenge for her. He can't solve it for Duo, so she must work on it herself. However, the hysterical Duo argues that Shi Yaoping is also cultivating and has greater powers than her. If Bai doesn't do it, she may never avenge herself and her family. She then desperately pleads with Bai to kill Shi Yaoping, and she'll do anything for it. However, she's getting too hysterical. So Bai is like, chill, woman, and releases a heart-calming talisman on Duo, putting her at ease. He then reminds her to open her mind on this personal journey. Duo doubts her abilities, but Bai Luo-chun promises her that she's capable of anything. To empower her further, Bai hands a weapon to Duo, telling her that grievances must be paid accordingly. He wants her to get rid of the men from the Blood Sword Palace in whatever method she prefers. In the halls of the Jiandong Mountain Blood Sword Palace, two men speculate about the intentions of their palace master upon the arrival of the woman from the Nalan family. One of them jokes, suggesting that the master will likely prioritize his desires before ultimately disposing of her. Meanwhile, another man indulges in fantasies, longing for a chance to taste the woman destined to be the master's bride. Unaware of the impending danger, one of them meets a sudden death at the hands of an unknown assailant. Shortly after, the remaining man meets a similar fate, his face cleaved in two. Geez, seems like gossiping can be deadly. The killers are two women armed with a hidden spirit talisman, but they only have half an hour of stealth left. They plan to find a person named Xu Ping because they seek to end his measly life. One of the killers, Mo Shi of the Mo family, asks her sister, Mo Ran, if it's worth it to risk their life for a mere scholar. However, Mo Ran reminds her that she is not doing this task for just one man, as she also wants to access the abode. Mo Shi pleads with her sister, saying that they can only fight against a nascent soul and nothing higher than that. Mo Ran counters, reminding Mo Shi that they stole the talismans to get to where they are now. Mo Shi rests her case, and she compliments her genius sister. Text, just say you're scared, woman. The pair resumes their mission, only to halt abruptly as the protective sword formation unexpectedly activates, an indication of intrusion. Out of nowhere, Bai Luo-chun and the disciples bust into the atmosphere with their flying aircraft. Meanwhile, Li Yue feeds Duo with Mi Meng's silkworm, wanting to protect her beforehand in case something bad happens. However, Mi Meng is distraught because Li Yue used up all the supply meant to last for 2 months. Poor little Mi Meng, always being bullied for literally anything. Just then, Bai Luo-chun notifies the girls that he's about to land. He also reminds Duo to bring the talisman that he gave her. Meanwhile, within the palace, concerns arise over the sudden attack. Who could the intruders be? Speculations arise about the Silver Sword Palace, though it seems unlikely given their lack of strength to penetrate the sword formation. The palace master, Shi Yaoping, maintains composure as he strategizes. Suddenly, a voice emanates from his ring, urging him to summon his blood puppet before it's too late. Sensing the urgency in his ancestor's tone, he asks about the identity of this threat. The voice responds that it's not sure, but it's likely someone at the revolving light stage. Unexpectedly, Bai Luo Chun bursts into the palace with a single punch. He realizes he may have exerted too much power, but doubts that it would be fatal for someone in the nascent soul realm. And bingo, Shi Yaoping is still alive, signaling an impending battle. Elsewhere, Milran catches a glimpse of Shi Yaoping's blood chi and urges her sister to join her in witnessing the scene. However, Moshi cautions her, reminding her of the sacrifices they'd made and the risks involved in getting entangled in the fight. Milran counters, confident that they have the 3-star Divine Way talisman that she stole from their grandfather. Escaping should be a piece of cake. Milran remains resolute, even getting excited about the prospect of witnessing Shi Yaoping's death. With this, she tells Moshi to hide their chi. It's not every day that they can see someone who can level a mountain gate with a single punch. Milran sarcastically tells her sister that she won't go out with her next time. She's literally crazy. Unbeknownst to the girls, Bai Luo Chun can sense them from afar. However, he decides to leave them alone as long as they don't interfere with the fight. His topmost priority is to make sure that Shi Yaoping doesn't escape. Meanwhile, Shi Yaoping relies on a blood technique for protection. Within it, he consults his ancestor about the possibility of escape, given her chi has been detected. However, realizing it might be impossible, negotiating with Bai Luo Chun might be their only viable option. Shi Yaoping suddenly asks Bai Luo Chun who he is, and so he briefly introduces himself. The Mo sisters are taken aback by this revelation. Wasn't this guy supposed to be crippled a decade ago? He's none other than the person who sealed a portal from the demon world and vanquished numerous demons. It dawns on them that this is the renowned talisman master, the instructor Bai Luo Chun. Sheesh, the man would die to hear people talk about him like this. Milran keeps talking about Bai Luo Chun, making it pointless that they're even hiding their chi. Meanwhile, Shi Yaoping claims that the Blood Sword Palace has no grievances against the Academy, so he can't make sense of why Bai Luo Chun attacked them. Bai replies that the Academy has nothing against him, but his disciple does. He then challenges Shi Yaoping to face his disciple in a duel to the death, and if he wins, he'll let him go. Out comes Duo, which immediately angers Shi Yaoping. He asks the conditions of the duel again, confirming if Bai will truly let him go if he beats Duo. He also asks if he'll ever interfere in case he severely injures her, to which Bai says no. Bai reasons that Duo wants to personally seek revenge against him, making Shi Yaoping laugh sarcastically in response. The fight is on. Before Duo charges, Bai Luo Chun reminds her to use the treasure he gave her to ensure her victory. As Duo sets off, Li Yue can't help but worry. Shi Yaoping is in the nascent soul stage, which is 3 stages higher than Duo's. That is basically like sending her to her death. However, Bai Luo Chun reassures his disciples that he won't let anything happen to Duo. Suddenly, Shi Yaoping uses his tentacled monster to capture Duo, choking her. He then declares that he will slowly torture her and cruelly disgrace her in front of Bai, just like how she humiliated him back then. Out of nowhere, the struggling Duo opens her mouth, revealing a talisman imprinted on her tongue. The talisman detonates, enabling Duo to escape. It's a shocking move, considering the self-destructive nature of the talisman. She risked her life. Shi Yaoping, frustrated that even his blood puppet couldn't halt her, realizes he needs to take Duo seriously. Just then, Duo appears out of nowhere, claiming that she will avenge the Nalong family who died at the hands of Shi Yaoping. Meanwhile, Mimum observes that while the silkworm can revive Duo's physical form, the agony must be excruciating. Seeing Duo function that easily only means that she's quite the fighter. However, Mimung's opinion shifts when Shi Yaoping gains the upper hand, worrying about squandering her hard-earned silkworms. Bai Luo Chun grows tired of her complaints, so he promises to compensate her later. Li Yue then alerts Bai Luo Chun about the vast strength gap between Duo and Shi Yaoping. Even with the life-threatening talisman, Duo stands to lose if she uses up all the silkworm cocoons. She strongly suggests intervention in the duel. However, Bai explains Duo's rare physique, which thrives on constant life and death battles to unlock her innate potential. Once activated, defeating Xiao Ping will be easy. The magic treasure and silkworms serve to expedite this process. Left with no choice, Li Yue can only trust Bai's words. Meanwhile, Xiao Ping believes that Duo has gone mad. She keeps using self-explosion during fights, and it's severely injuring him. He's also frantic that he is depleting the blood puppets that he worked so hard on defining. Suddenly, Duo prepares to finish off Xiao Ping, who is now panicking because his puppets can't hold on any longer. As she is about to use her last self-explosion talisman, she suddenly twitches in pain. It seems like she doesn't have enough spiritual power for the detonation. Oh, you're dead meat, Duo. Seizing the opportunity, Xiao Ping channels power into his blood puppet, pulling Duo closer. He claims that she will never avenge anyone in this lifetime, and there's no chance of doing that in the next life either. A little harsh there, Xiao Ping, but don't you worry, guys, it's only about to get worse. Xiao Ping suddenly uses his blood puppet to mimic the faces and voices of Duo's dead family, crafted from the flesh and essence of the Nalan family. These blood puppets enable Xiao Ping's twisted torture methods. Since she liked explosions too much, Xiao Ping figured it would be nice to make the puppets' heads explode. Duo screams of horror echo as she witnesses her father's head explode, followed by the heads of her other relatives. That's just sick. Li Yue is having none of this cruelty, so she prepares to intervene. However, Bai Lu Chun stops her, claiming that this is Duo's own karma. He wants Li Yue to trust him and Duo as well. Meanwhile, Duo falls out of consciousness, so Xiao Ping uses this opportunity to finish her off. As he launches a manual attack with his fist, Duo triggers something within herself, causing Xiao Ping's hand to melt upon contact. Suddenly, Duo sprouts wings and a cloud of toxic smoke envelops the area. Of course, Xiao Ping refuses to back down, so he releases an immortal blood escape attack. The anxious Xiao Ping hysterically asks his ancestor what the smoke is, as it's severely injuring him. The ancestor replies that it's the awakened profound yin toxin meridian, and he must remove the ring from the infected hand because it's poisonous. The ancestor then reminds Xiao Ping that he's not strong enough to resist the profound yin toxin. If he doesn't want to die, then he has to use all his big guns. Bring forth the trump cards. Xiao Ping unleashes a bloodbound sword and abyssal hell/combo attack, aiming to end Duo's life once and for all. However, Duo effortlessly retaliates, delivering a devastating blow to Xiao Ping's face. His blood puppet is helpless, so he pleads with his ancestor to help him. Duo, showing no mercy, rains down relentless punches until Xiao Ping's head is practically obliterated, leaving only the ring behind. The ancestor suddenly attempts to attack Duo, but Bai Lu Chun jumps to the rescue. He then tells her to get some rest while he deals with this entity. With a 3-star Sacred Seal Divine Swiftness attack. Phew, let me catch my breath. Bai Lu Chun triggers the ring to merge with the sky. Just then, droplets of blood fall from the clouds, leading the Mo sisters to suspect that they're witnessing a heavenly phenomenon. Just then, out of nowhere, the blood sword ancestor, Sue Wuchun, appears. Bai Lu Chun caused havoc by destroying his mountain and killing his disciple, leaving Sue Wuchun seething with anger. Sue wonders if Bai fears karma, considering he's decimated the Blood Sword Palace's heritage. Karma? Boy, he is karma. Just then, Bai sends out self-destructing puppets to attack Sue Wuchun. As the puppets explode with Wuchun, Moshi can't help but think that Bai's puppets are so much stronger than Duo's. Truly, he's a beast. Amidst the chaos, debris from Bai's puppets lands near the Mo sisters. Mo-ran is impressed by the intricate carvings on it, and she deduces it won't explode again due to the activated harm talisman inside. She plans to take it back for their family talisman craftsman because they might learn something from it. Meanwhile, Sue Wuchun is consumed by anger because Bai Lu Chun is humiliating him. He unleashes his strong attack on Bai, but he counters with a 4-star Sacred Talisman attack. The Sacred Talisman becomes Sue Wuchun's demise, incinerating his body. The fight is over, and Bai Lu Chun plans to burn the remnants of Sue Wuchun. Wouldn't want a litter, right? However, Mimon points out that Sue Wuchun might still be alive since he's attempting to regenerate. Seriously, Is this guy a cockroach? Just die already. Out of nowhere, Stue Wuchun fires a strong attack at one of Bai's disciples as retribution for Shi Yaoping's death. Unfortunately for this dummy, he fires at Mimong, who is also quite the cockroach herself. Bai Luochun even challenges Sue Wuchun to kill her if he can. Mimong throws a fit. She doesn't even see herself as a disciple, and even worse, she's being bullied again. Realizing that he can't win this fight, Stue Wuchun retreats, vowing revenge on Bai. Just then, Bai Luochun calls out to the Mo sisters, telling them to do whatever they want before the Xi'an alliance arrives. Geez, he knew they were there this whole time. The sisters reveal themselves before Bai, introducing themselves with utmost respect. However, Bai tells them to not be too formal because he's been good friends with their family when he was younger. He even owes their grandfather because he took care of him long ago, and he was one of his loyal customers when he was selling talismans. However, Bai Luochun wonders what brought the Mo sisters to the Blood Sword Palace. Mo Ran explains that Shi Yaoping slaughtered her best friend's family, and so she seeks to kill him. Mo Shi washes her hands clean, clarifying that she was only dragged into this situation and Bai shouldn't tell their grandfather. Mo Ran, on the other hand, blushes at the thought that Bai Luochun took care of Shi Yaoping for her. It's not really like that, but okay. Because their mission is done, Bai Luochun lets the sisters handle the remnants of the Blood Sword Palace's outer courts. However, at the back of his head, he can't help but think of the sisters as reckless. If it weren't for him, they would have been disabled by now. Before leaving, Bai tells the sisters to send his regards to their grandfather. Mo Shi then tells her sister to crash out Bai Luochun's name from her book because he is definitely out of her league. Mo Ran anxiously tells her sister to get the Dong Shu ring, and she clarifies that the book is for the young talents she approves of. It's not a list of crushes. Mo Shi teases her sister, asking why the young talents are all men with scores beside their names. After a long ride home, Bai Luochun, Mimong, Li Yue, and Duo finally arrive. The system congratulates Bai for completing the world mission. He gets rewarded with a 1-point increase in spiritual energy. He also receives the Great Yin Poison Mantra and the Great Yin Entanglement Whip. However, Bai can't help but think that the rewards are for Duo. Just then, an origami messenger informs Bai of an academy mission. He must represent the academy and attend the Tianxing City's Ling family ball. Bai changes courses, which annoys Mimong because she wants to go home. She argues that this is forced overtime, but Bai Luochun replies that she's not even hired for anything, so he can't give her a bonus. Mimong's antenna twitches in anger. This old man is testing her. Meanwhile, it is explained why Mimong is so fussy about her silkworms. It's a very long and arduous procedure. Her blood essence weaves the cocoons, birthing tiny Mimongs who emerge soon after. These miniature versions diligently mend the cocoons after breaking free, with Mimong retrieving them afterward. These cocoons form the basis of her reviving molts, and they have a shelf life of about 1 month. Unfortunately, the tiny Mimong only lives for a single day, and she spends her brief existence playing with Wu Zhuoi. Now that's just depressing. No wonder she's overly protective of her cocoons. At Qinghong Academy, a group of men congregates in the discussion hall. Li Guanqi, the dean of the academy, is notified that Bai Luochun has departed for the Lin residence. This excites him, as this is a lucky opportunity for them all. However, Tu Wangsheng, the law enforcement elder, expresses concern that sending Bai to the influential Lin family might tarnish the academy's reputation. Reflecting on Bai's recent actions, Gu Anqi recalls a peculiar incident at Qingluan Peak where a trace of heavenly Dao aura leaked out. Chang Yuming, another law enforcement elder, speculates that Bai might have undergone another breakthrough. Gu Anqi notes that while Bai prefers to keep a low profile, his strength is undoubtedly formidable. Consequently, Gu Anqi decides to grant the instructors of various academies a portion of the authority typically reserved for elders, a decision that surprises everyone present. With their juniors assuming responsibility for the academy's reputation, everyone can finally relax a bit. If any of the elders have anything to say, that they must consult with Bai Luochun. Just then, Instructor Ni seizes the opportunity to speak up, suggesting that while Bai's attendance at the banquet may not disgrace the academy, they should publicly announce his regained strength. A bit backhanded there, Instructor Ni. Meanwhile, in the Lin residence at Tianxing City, the people congratulate the Lins for the breakthrough of their ancestor to the body recombining stage. Lin Yuanji catches a glimpse of the beautiful Duo and Li Yu-wei, so he asks his father, Lin Zunnan, who these cultivators are. Zunnan replies with their names, and he adds that they are Bai Luo Chun's disciples. Just then, Bai appears, congratulating Ancestor Lin for his recent breakthrough. Zunnan thanks him, expressing his pleasure in finally meeting the renowned instructor. While Zunnan arranges Bai's accommodation, some bystanders gossip about him and his reputation of being a trash talisman instructor. They also talk about Duo and why she's still alive when her whole family is slaughtered. When Bai and the disciples finally leave, Zunnan expresses that he is insulted. How dare the academy send literal trash to express their congratulations? Wow, this guy is full on plastic. However, Yu Anji comments that Bai might be here to ask for help. Recently, Nalan Duo has been chased by the Blood Sword Palace, and they want to kill her. Out of nowhere, she becomes Bai's disciple, so she must want the academy to have her back. Zunnan urges his son to get to the point, so Yu Anji finally spits it out. Bai Luo Chun might suggest an alliance through marriage. Yu Anji clarifies that the academy surely won't support this trash instructor, so if his goal is to wed Duo to him. Talk about delusional. Zunnan asks if he even wants to get married, to which Yu Anji hints that he does. However, he doesn't just want her, but Li Yue too. Geez, these two are clearly related. Zunnan explains that Li Yue is still up for debate, but Duo, on the other hand, might be a hassle because the Blood Sword Palace won't stop at anything until they get revenge. However, the bratty Yu Anji argues that the ancestor has entered the body recombining stage, making the Blood Sword Palace literal dogs to be kicked around. Besides, the Blood Sword Palace isn't known for killing mortals because it's a huge taboo in the cultivation world. Yeah, right. Tell that to Duo's dead family. Even if they don't make a move, the Immortal Alliance will not be able to take it any longer. They can also use this matter as a pretext to acquire more power and prestige. That does sound like a good idea. This finally convinces Zunnan, and he even plans to use the Blood Sword Palace as a dowry. Zunnan then excuses himself to go and requests the ancestors to deal with the Blood Sword Palace. He grants Yu Anji his permission for Duo and Li Yue, so he can do whatever he wants with them. Since when did he have authority over the girls? As his father leaves, Yu Anji can't help but fawn over the idea of Duo being his wife. He might even have Li Yue as a side chick. Disgusting. Meanwhile, Duo can't help but sneeze with all the dust in their room. Is the Lin family kidding? What kind of accommodation is this? Li Yue explains that this is already better than their rooms back home, which is in utter disarray. Bai Luo Chun doesn't make her feel any better, adding that their tiles back home are moldy. Nani? It's only about to get worse. If you remember, Duo is raised with a silver spoon, so this living condition does not live up to her standards. Their current situation upsets her, as they're the face of the academy who deserve better rooms. To make her feel better, Bai gifts Duo the scripture of lunar poison and the lunar silk rope. Duo is thankful, but she's worried that she might get undressed again. Bai reassures her and attempts to demonstrate how to use the items, but it seems like he's not very sure of what he's doing. He accidentally draws Duo towards him, almost squishing his face into her melons. Just then, Duo suddenly expresses that her solar plexus is getting very hot. Is that another term for heat? Meanwhile, Mimeng busies herself in the kitchen. The kitchen staff calls her out for what she's doing, but she only bunks in with a dough roller and continues eating. Another staff comes in, but he meets a similar fate and gets bonked too. Just then, Li Yue enters the kitchen, and unfortunately, she gets bonked. Angry, Li Yue grabs her by the antenna and drags her out. Meanwhile, Duo is feeling something weird growing inside her. No, it's not a child, but her awakening constitution. She needs a golden core to be completely under control. Bai Luo Chun then commands Li Yue to summon Mimeng. Wanting to borrow her demon core, Mimeng refuses, arguing that her demon core is her lifeblood. However, Bai pinches her little moth face, forcing her to comply. She spits out her demon core, mumbling that she's always being bullied. However, Bai clarifies that he'll return it to her once Duo understands the way of gold, which will help Mimeng achieve the Emperor realm in the future. Sounds like a good deal. But Bai Luo Chun better keep his word. Bai then feeds the demon core to Duo, but she asks why she needs it when the issue is her lack of cultivation. Bai replies that he's forging a fake golden core for her, and she must take it before it tastes like crap. After consuming it, Bai instructs Duo to direct the demon pill toward her sea of consciousness. Just then, Duo feels weird, and a bunch of feathers burst out of her back. Finally, Duo calms down, but she wonders why she doesn't feel any different. Bai replies that her spiritual power only stabilized, but her actual realm is still at the beginning of the fusion realm. Meanwhile, Li Yue lets out a sigh of relief, thinking that another disciple almost surpassed her. Mimeng, on the other hand, could only comment that old Bai is a bit abnormal. Just then, someone knocks at the door, informing them that the Tianxing festival is about to begin. Wait, what festival? Bai and the disciples immediately attend the said gathering, where the skies are filled with flying lanterns and bustling fireworks. Li Yue is puzzled about how the lanterns levitate when they don't have spiritual powers, and Mimeng replies that she has all the spiritual powers in the world, yet she can't even fly. Duo suddenly calls Li Yue to join her and Bai in flying a lantern. She explains that the Tianxing festival is a huge tradition, no matter if you are a mortal or a cultivator. People from all walks of life will come and set a light in the sky during the said event. If you wish towards the Tianxing light, the heavens will hear you. Li Yue is starstruck, realizing that she's been so focused on cultivating in her past life that she missed so many beautiful experiences like this one. Suddenly, Duo starts tearing up, remembering that she used to come to the festival with her family. Bai comforts her, which causes Li Yue to be jealous. Mimeng feeds the fire, telling Li Yue that if she doesn't make a move, she won't be Bai's favorite disciple anymore. However, Li Yue tells her to shut her trap because Duo is not that kind of person. Plus, Bai doesn't favor one disciple over the other. Okay, Li Yue. Li Yue dismisses the ill thoughts, and she joins Bai and Duo in wishing safety upon everyone in Qingluan Peak. As they watch the lantern ascend towards the skies, Bai Lu Ochun tells Duo that Qingluan Peak will be her new home now. Duo then prays to her family, telling them that she has avenged them and has found a kind master. Bai Lu Ochun then places a divine movement talisman on their lantern, making it zoom higher into the air. Surely, the heavens will grant their wishes with that. They even release more lanterns with talismans for more chances of winning. Meanwhile, in Qingluo Peak, Chang Xiao Liu prays to the moon god to grant her a breakthrough into the demon master realm. Even better, she wants to reach the boss realm one day. Wu Zhuoi suddenly appears, asking Xiao Liu what she's doing. She replies that she felt a disturbance in the moon, so they must pray and ask for whatever they want. Wu Zhuoi joins her, praying to be smarter so she can't help beat up the bad guys that attack them.